I'm
Alright, let's
interviewing.
start. Okay, ready? Let's go.
So I'm interviewing. What is your name?
My name is Dr. Michael Sun.
What is your favorite food?
My favorite food, I guess for a long time, I guess when I first came to Australia, my first meal was a McDonald's. So I used to think McDonald's was my favorite, and then I included like McDonald's, KFC, and pizza. But then I realized like these foods are all trash. And then my favorite food became beef brisket, which was like a Chinese thing when I was it's like a Chinese food kind of thing. And I mean since then, I don't know, I guess I haven't really worried too much about food as much, but there's lots of food I like these days. Okay,
What
next.
is your favorite color?
My favorite color. I've never really thought about it. I've always had a prepared answer as blue, but I never really thought about it. I don't really care for colors.
Okay. What is your favorite TV show?
Oh, my favorite TV show. There's actually a lot of TV shows that come to mind that I actually hate instead of thinking about what my favorite show is. Um, I guess it depends on like what time in my life, but maybe overall it might be Star Trek. Okay. Obviously liked a lot of other shows. Um, I can't say I like Doctor Who, but I never watched. Well, I only watched that with my dad. I didn't really watch it all, but like Star Trek, I literally watched all the episodes. And but there was lots of other shows. I guess just nothing so persistent that I've come to watch over and over again. But yeah, Star Trek. Have you heard of Star Trek?
Nope.
Hmm.
What is your favorite board game?
Oh, well, that's easy, I guess. It's I think it's got to be chess, right? Like yeah, I mean in terms of just the hours, it has to be chess. But I like Monopoly before because I actually that was like one of the only games I played with my mom. Okay, so me and my mom spent almost like no time together, but we managed to play like pretty serious Monopoly like a few times when I was young.
When did you start your maths, basketball, random games, and chess content?
Okay, so random games content. We started that as like when the YouTube channel started. Um, and but not as much, I guess, because you guys were too young. It wasn't that fun. But what was it? Random maths content. Actually, so we only started the maths content kind of recently. Like all the maths before, we kind of had unlisted, and we just started making them public now. Like all the students are actually all in uni and stuff, so we're just starting to make our old lessons public. So that's only like a recent thing. Just kind of consciously becoming a YouTuber. Basically, when we just kind of hit 500 subscribers. Um, yeah, the random chess thing, I guess. Yeah, I guess we just kind of wanted a record of the games. I always felt bad, like all the games we played, we never actually kept a track record of them and we forgot about them. But, no, okay, that's a pretty long answer, sorry.
What do you like to do when you have nothing to do?
What do I like to do in my spare time?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess basketball, that's kind of the thing I've been doing the most lately. And yeah, that relates back to your content question because I filmed a lot of basketball, but also I didn't want to show the videos because I didn't know if people wanted me to show them. But most of them, I guess, now are just so old. I can just put them on. No one will care. And I want to keep like a record of having actually played basketball. And yeah, I think basketball is the thing I do the most in my spare time.
What are all the sports you've ever played?
Oh, that's an interesting question. So the sports I've ever played, the very first, I don't know if you kind of count handball at school as sport, but maybe the very first sport I ever played was tennis. So I remember I always went to after school care, and the after school care supervisor always made me practice tennis with them, and I was like a good tennis partner. And I was, pretty decently coordinated with tennis at the very beginning. And then in high school, I played table tennis. I played a bit of soccer. I never really played basketball in school. I played volleyball. And I played basketball when I went to uni. And what other sports? Oh, actually, there was a strange in year 6. I played a season of rugby league.
Oh.
Okay, which was very interesting. And my parents didn't actually realize what it was when they let me in.
Super interesting.
Yeah, it was pretty scary. We saw this guy. Like this guy was literally like 150 kilograms and like I don't know. It looked like he was 6 feet tall. One of our team tackled him and he fell on our teammate and our teammate broke his like collarbone or something. And so it was kind of like a good time to quit. I could ankle tap people back in the day. I think that's all the sports I played.
When did you get your phone? The first phone.
My first phone, oh. I don't even remember having a phone in high school. I don't even remember having a phone in high school. But I remember my first. I remember being really impressed with having an iPhone in like at university. And one of the things about me with phones is I never ever bought a cover for my phones. Okay, so and I basically never dropped them. So and I thought the phones looked very good without a cover. You have any more questions?
Wait, can the cameraman interview? Like,
That's the end of the interview.
What was your first job?
My first job. Oh, so you wanna switch roles?
Yeah.
Do you wanna come interview and you can go film?
Okay. Go, here's your microphone.
Okay, so my daughter's gonna tag out for my son here.
Now. So what was your first job?
My first job. So I never really ever had a job actually, but like my first. What would you mean? Like my first source of income?
Yeah.
So my first source of income, you might say, is maybe just like a scholarship I had for university. Like the university gave me some prize money.
Oh.
But when I was in university, I was tutoring students, so I was getting paid, I guess, for tutoring students. And I actually worked once. So it was my mate John Jang introduced me to this guy called I think it's Dr. Lee's tutoring, and it was like for Korean kids who wanted to do medicine. And there I learned a few Korean words, and yeah, I always very much admired the Korean community. So yeah, yeah, but I'd had a lot of like little part-time jobs like that. So like I was actually a scribe for a uni lecturer. So I was kind of unprofessional actually because I lived next to the uni and the lectures were in the morning and I was meant to basically I wrote on the you know how like when people talk in front of a large audience they have like a little projector and you can write on the projector and what you write gets shown to everyone and they couldn't write because they had a hand disability and they got me to write for them like a maths lecture in front of like 200 people. But like I was just like like a student, so I'd kind of show up in my pajamas and I would just start writing, and hopefully no one really paid any attention to me. But I was writing all the maths correctly, but maybe not being very professional correctly. Yeah, but I guess I didn't get fired or told off, so I just kind of didn't realize.
Well, what was your first friend?
My first friend. It's an
Ooh.
interesting question. So then primary school or what? Like primary school?
Like any time in school.
Yeah, so I had. So my first friend. Okay, this is interesting. So this goes back to primary school. Okay, and my first friend, his name was Andre Stepanyan. and he was this Armenian boy. And I met him when I was in North Ryde Public School, and he was kind enough to he was a tall boy, and he was kind enough to help me put my bag on the high hook. I couldn't even reach the top hook, and he helped me out. Yeah, and so I guess he was my first friend.
Yeah.
Mm.
What did you play with him?
What did you play with him? Okay, we played all the things that you do in primary school, like handball and stuff. He was quite good at a lot of stuff. We played soccer quite a lot. Yeah, I guess back in primary school, it's funny because we were kind of just like running around doing stupid things. I remember I got an award once for just not mucking around. I didn't even do anything. It's like it's like I didn't do something wrong for a whole lunchtime, and I got an award for that. Okay.
Is that because everyone just marks around and stuff?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess maybe the standard was, oh, maybe I was too disruptive on normally, because I couldn't really speak English. Like I couldn't speak English for like the first year of primary school. So I just basically, and I wasn't the most aware kid like in terms of what other people were thinking in the first place. So if there was a language barrier, it was even worse because I like literally people were saying stop that, and like I thought they wanted more. And so yeah, it didn't work out very good. But
When did you first get the doctor title?
when I first got my PhD, wow, okay, so I got my PhD in 2014. Pretty sure, yeah.
That's a year before I was born.
Yeah. So you were born in 2015. 2014, huh? Yeah, in the United States. Yeah, but I guess I finished my PhD thesis earlier than that. It just took a while to get the formalities. Yeah.
What was the first subject you were really good at school?
First subject I was really good at school. I mean, it had to be maths because like maths was a subject even in year one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I couldn't even speak English. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So but I could do year one maths without thinking about it. I'd always, for some reason, at the start, I'd always make like one mistake on the test, no matter which test it was. I guess it was just because of carelessness, but no matter how hard the test got, I'd still only make one mistake. There's always just one. Michelle, don't do that.
Let me think. Did you like any of your teachers?
In primary school?
Anytime.
Oh no, I liked a lot of my teachers. I mean, I'm very critical of teachers these days, and partly it's because of how they compare with the teachers I had.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the teachers I had, I thought were great teachers, but nowadays I think we've lost a lot of that. I mean, in primary school, wow, it's really hard to remember now. I had quite a lot of teachers in primary school. I had a teacher called Miss Chitty, Mrs. Wilson, and then I switched schools to Murray Farm. I had a teacher called Mr. McClellan. And then there's so many teachers in high school. I mean, this question is a little bit too open-ended. Yeah, I had a lot of teachers. I guess maybe the one thing I was really missing in a teacher, if that's what your question can be focused on, is that I missed a teacher that would really understand my potential in, say, mathematics. So, I would have liked the teacher to recognize that I was good enough at mathematics to maybe pursue something a bit beyond the normal curriculum, but no one really recognized that. But I still remember, I always struggled with English, and it was with the teachers' help. Like a lot of different English teachers helped me, like finally overcome all that insecurity with English, and I think that made a big difference. And there's always two ways to look at it. It's like there's two kind of emergencies. The one emergency is not having the necessity of English skills, and the other emergency is not having sort of the priority of developing to the full extent my mathematical potential. And while I didn't solve both emergencies, I think I did solve at least one of them.
You're the best teacher I know.
Thanks, Michelle.
What was your
I'm like the only teacher you know.
What was the first student you got?
My first student. So let's see. This depends on what you count as first student, Do you mean like the first student ever? Like when I came back to Australia? Or do you want like
students, when you're teaching at home and stuff?
Okay. I think there's sort of a lot of technicalities with this question, but maybe the most straightforward practical answer is Haiping. So Haiping is basically my first student. So and it's certainly like the first student that sort of stayed with me all the way to year 12 and graduated.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's it.
No more questions?
No.
All right.
This interview was nice, but now it's over. News off.
All right. Thank you for interviewing me.